So, like other members in this House, I'm in favour of providing police with enhanced powers to maintain public order and safety. We have to look to incidents around the world to learn about the evolving methods that terrorists use to inflict maximum damage and terror. Even if these incidents have not occurred in Singapore, there is no guarantee that it will not happen here. And when they do, we need to be prepared for it. The POSPA Bill is an important step to equip and empower our security agencies to mount an effective response should we one day need it. While I support the bill in its intentions, allow me to seek a few clarifications on its details. In Clause 3, serious incidents are defined to constitute terrorist acts, acts of serious violence, acts causing large-scale public disorder, and so on. Members of this House, past and present, have continuously debated about striking the right balance between maintaining public order and proportionate responses to achieving that order. We have constantly been recalibrating this balance, not just today, but in 2009, when we discussed the Public Order Act, and again in 2014, after the Little India riots. In that light, can Minister clarify why, quote, acts causing large-scale public disorder, unquote, under Part C of Clause 3, are defined as a serious incident on the same scale as violent attack acts of terrorism? The bill provides an example for such an act, describing, quote, a sit-down demonstration which attracts a large group of sympathizers who voluntarily join the sit-in. Their presence starts to impede the flow of vehicular and pedestrian traffic, which many other members of this House have quoted as well. The bill proposes that the police be given the same set of powers, whether it's dealing with acts of terrorism or sit-down demonstrations which attract a large group of sympathizers. Why? I do understand that there is concern that these assemblies might lead to violence and injuries, but can Minister clarify what exactly is the high threshold for the activation of the special powers spelled out in this bill? What will trigger the activation? I would also like to seek clarity on the size of an assembly that could qualify as, quote, a large-scale public disorder, end of quote. When would a crowd be large enough for these special powers to be activated? For some members of the public, it may also seem excessive in these cases to allow the police enhanced powers to stop and question individuals within the incident areas, and if the individual does not comply, to issue a fine of up to $20,000 or 2 years imprisonment. Or in Clause 18, 19, and 20, to use force, including lethal weapons, to ensure compliance of orders. Again, members of the public are clearly supportive of the use of lethal weapons to ensure compliance of orders when there is a terrorist attack. But the concern of some members of the public is whether we need to use such lethal powers for a sit-down demonstration. Can Minister clarify these concerns, address these concerns? Next, I believe that the communication stop order in Clause 30 is absolutely necessary in situations where live communication could give terrorists the upper hand. We do not want to see an embarrassing repeat of the Mumbai attacks in 2008 or the Manila hostage crisis in 2010. Related to my previous point, I would like to ask the rationale again for requiring such a stop order, again for acts causing large-scale public disorder. Can Minister provide some clarification on why this is needed? I understand that a member of the public would not be penalized if he or she was taking a photo and sending it to authorities via SG Secure. In any given situation, there could be many people using their phones concurrently for different reasons, some violating the communication stop order, some not. How then would this be effectively policed? Furthermore, I believe it would be beneficial to have more clarity on certain language use in the bill. In clauses 18, 19, 20, and 48, the police may use, quote, use force as it is reasonably necessary, end of quote, including the use of lethal weapons. Can it be more clearly defined as to what constitutes reasonable force? While empowering the police with necessary powers to maintain public order, we also need to balance this with safeguards to prevent the misuse of this power. The bill now also grants some special powers to civilian assistance, which members of this House has raised as well, which I understand was not previously included in the Public Order Preservation Act, POPA. How can we ensure that these civilian assistants are sufficiently trained, particularly to know what reasonable force entails? Some members of the public are also concerned that with the communication stop order in place, if there are any case of police brutality were to occur, we would not have independent documentation of the event. This may lead to some questions on whether there are sufficient safeguards to prevent a scenario of disproportionate power. MHA has since clarified that if members of the public have any allegations of misconduct or abuse of powers by police officer when POSPA has been activated, they should lodge a police report or report directly to the ministry. But we will have to bear in mind that they may not be in possession of any evidence to support that police report due to the communication stop order. Can the Minister provide more clarity on this issue? Sir, I do understand the need and importance of this bill, and I hope that Minister can address the concerns I've raised. So notwithstanding the above clarifications, I stand in support of this bill.